Let's discuss this further with Seijiro Takeshita, a professor at the School of Management and Information at the University of Shizuoka. Thank you so much for being with us on the program today, Professor. First off, I want to get a better understanding of how widespread the so-called Moonies are among politicians, particularly the ruling Liberal Democrat Party.
Well, the effect of not only the Unification Church, but many of these religious groups have been fairly widespread, not only amongst the LDP, but for the opposition as well. The part of the reason is Japan do not really have a very strong stance in law to basically prohibit excessive, inclination or effect to the political issues. We all know that religion and politics should not mix, but in Japan we have had many cases as such. If you remember, for example, the Ohm incident, where these group people had basically tried to poison the city of Tokyo, if you remember that.
Mhm.
You can see that there has been a very lax, or I should say, relaxed attitude for the freedom, which excessively enable these groups to affect our political issues as well.
How do you think it's had an impact on the political scheme of Japan? They've often faced accusations of being a cult motivated by financial gain.
I would assume that, obviously the financial gain is the main motivation for these, I say, strategic apex of these groups. And this is quite universal, not only the Unification Church, but, all these religious groups, the cults. That's what they're aiming for. So I'm not surprised that they want to utilize their power or basically sustain their power by having ties with important people in political scenes. But not only that, for PR purposes, to many of the people in the media, for example, and also in a lot of entertainment business, sports business, what have you. They want to basically utilize everything that's possible in order to deepen their influence, both in terms of wide influence as well as in depth as well.
Right, and members of the LDP are trying to prove that they have no ties to the Unification Church. Do you think that they'll be able to sever any ties that they might have with the church, and that they'll allegedly give up all the money that they're receiving?
As to answer your latter question, it's obviously the case where the Japanese public had enough of this. I think in that sense, it was a very good wake-up call for the public that we have to basically go on to do something about this. So therefore, I think the isolation, or I should say division from the religion and religious groups and politics will be a more severe thing. As for disclosure, I'm not too sure. I think there would be many people who would probably want to make this a very wishy-washy event, and basically, go on with the continued, situation that they've got. I'm not sure about the former, but for the latter, I'm very sure that there will be a clear truncation, and I think more legislation and regulation
Mhm.
must be established in order to sustain this move.
All right, Professor, thank you so much for joining us here on the News Hour. It was a pleasure speaking to you.
Thank you.